Hey guys, Abel here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are on the second day of my 30-day vlog plant challenge. So I will be discussing my anthurium longistrosum. I don't know if you guys heard this plant because I've been searching online and I couldn't find any good source aside from the seller itself. Which this plant here, I actually got it from Equagenera or Equagenera. And I bought this one early this year, which is, I believe that's around February. You guys, when I went to this show, it's really chaos because a lot of people are lining up. And at first when I entered the place, I don't even know where to find the Aquagenera booth because it's on the second floor, I believe. And when I went there, it's pretty chaos. A lot of people, especially plant lovers and arid lovers like me, were there. And you guys, when I was looking for a rare one, not all of them are rare, when I was looking for something unique, I found this gem and nobody's even paying attention to it. Like, I don't know why. Actually, I don't really want it because I don't know if I can look after this plant properly, but it's been 4 months now and I have a new leaf. It's actually pretty big and I'm very happy because this plant is happy as well in what growing medium it's in. This plant is native from Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. I was actually looking for this plant online and I can't find a good source on how to take care of this plant. You guys, this is very beautiful. Like, I like the heart shape, so I thought I'd share with you my tips on how I care for this plant. So let's start with the light. In terms of light, this plant loves medium indirect sunlight. Do not ever place it direct sunlight because it will burn the leaves, especially if the leaf is still growing, because anthurium plants are very sensitive to light. I've had many of my anthuriums that it's not here anymore, and I encountered a lot of problems when it comes to placing them in direct sunlight. So I thought it's okay to place them direct sunlight or even close by the window, and they don't really like it. For this one, I'm keeping it under my IKEA cabinet, and at night I use my artificial light, which is my grow light here that I got from Lowe's. If you guys are interested on what grow light I am using, I'm gonna put the link down below so you guys can see. It's pretty cheap and it works really well. In terms of watering, this plant loves moist. I'm growing this plant in a sphagnum moss, coco coir, and perlite on top for good equilibrium of moist and at the same time good aeration as well. As you guys can tell, I have a new growth that is coming out, and this one is the bigger leaf that it came out recently. So highly suggest, if you guys have this plant or any type of anthurium, make sure they have a good moist in the soil. Humidity is a big factor for this anthurium. And you guys, I have some of my anthuriums that are struggling, and I started placing them in a box or in a container, and it produces a good humidity inside and it's working well. They love to be in a well and moist area. So if you have an anthurium and you are struggling, even though they can survive in the water, hydroponics, I think the best growing medium that you can use is sphagnum moss, and place them in a container or anything that is really secured where it produces a lot of good humidity inside, and you're good to go and your anthurium will be happy. When it comes to flowering for this plant, you have to be patient. Like, sometimes I'm being impatient, because I wanted to see how the inflorescence or the spadix of this plant will be, but it'll take some time. I don't know when or how long exactly, but if you are really aiming to have your anthurium to bloom, make sure to be patient, because patience is a virtue. And of course, make sure you are feeding them and placing them in a good humidity area. Then maybe one day you'll get the inflorescence or spadix that you are looking for. Propagation. Propagating this plant is by dividing the roots, but Don't you guys know that you can propagate your anthurium with the stem cuttings? If you guys want to check out my propagation with some of my anthurium stems, click the link on top and it'll lead you to that video. If you happen to receive an anthurium that has a long stem and it's struggling in your care, I highly suggest to cut at least 2 inches of that stem, and you can place it in sphagnum moss, coco coir, and the best is the perlite. But make sure to cover it and always give a little bit of moisten it. For sphagnum moss and coco coir, you can always throw them in a bottle or has lid on top and you're good to go. So I'm going to show you the closer look of this plant. And you guys, as you can tell, it has a long stem on. And if you don't put anything that, you know, will hold them or support them in the middle, they'll be like crazy growing in different directions. So for this one is the longest one, the new leaf that it came in. This is how it looks like in the stem. And like I said, that's a new growth that is coming in soon. And lots of roots. I don't know if you can see that. Lots of roots. Those greens that you guys are seeing, that's the roots. And it's still moist because, like I said, I'm using the sphagnum moss and coco coir. And look at the shape of this plant. So technically this leaf here will get taller and bigger leaves in a proper area or in a proper place that you are placing this plant. So usually the spadix will come out on this one. I'm not seeing a spadix yet. I'm seeing just the leaf. As you guys can see, the texture of the leaf feels like matte and it's really velvety. If you guys can see closely. And you guys can see the sinus of this plant. It's pretty cool, and then the veins are not really prominent, but it's still pretty. This one, it's even bigger than my head, and the new leaf that it came in, it's even bigger. So again, for the recap of this plant, light condition, make sure do not place it in direct sunlight, and you can always use grow light or artificial light. Watering for this plant, proper watering, and keep the soil moist, especially for this growing season. For water, proper watering is the key. Always keep this moist. It will produce a lot of leaves. Humidity, definitely a huge factor, so you have to make sure about that. Make sure to place this in a secured area that don't have any holes or air coming out, because this plant, like I said, love humidity. For flowering, if you are aiming to have your anthurium to flower or to bloom, it requires a lot of patience. Propagation, like I said, dividing the roots, but you can always do propagating the stem through sphagnum moss, coco coir, and perlite. So guys, what do you think? Is this extremely rare? Do you have this type of plant? And how much do you know about this plant? Let me know your thoughts and comment down below. Until then, this is my anthurium longistrosum. Thank you again for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you haven't yet, consider to do so. Follow me on my Instagram, Abel's Plant, and I will see you soon on my next video. Bye!